Hi! Hello everyone, welcome back to Roseman's Mandarin Garden. In our last episode, we talked about how Chinese directional complements develop fascinating extended meanings. Today, we're going to explore a very similar and equally common phenomenon, the abstract extension of basic adjective in Chinese. Let's start with two words you might already know. 小人, 小人 literally means small person. 高手, 高手 literally means high hand. In daily Chinese, 小人 actually means a base, contemptible or malicious person, while 高手 means master or an expert. In these expressions, 小 no longer refers to physical size, and 高 no longer refers to physical height. Instead, they describe social status, capability, and moral judgment. This is not an isolated phenomenon. It actually points to a profound difference in how Chinese and English organize their vocabulary. In Chinese, you will find that a vast number of adjectives used to describe space, size, weight, and distance have evolved to express social relationships, value judgments, and psychological feelings. In linguistics, this is called metaphorical mapping. Essentially, humans love to use their most familiar physical and spatial experiences to comprehend abstract concepts that they can't see or touch. For example, big becomes important, high becomes skilled or prestigious, heavy becomes important or serious, near becomes intimate, far becomes distant, both physically and emotionally. English does this too, but Chinese tends to do it much more systematically and frequently. Today, let's unpack the most essential pairs we use every day. Originally, 大, 小 describe physical size. For example, 这张桌子太大了，客厅放不下。这张桌子太大了，客厅放不下。你要大杯还是小杯？你要大杯还是小杯？ Simple enough, right? But in Chinese, they extend into three major dimensions: age, status, and degree. The older one is 大 and the younger one is 小。你们两个谁大？你们两个谁大？我比他小2岁，我比他小2岁。这是我大哥，这是我小妹，这是我大哥，这是我小妹。大 becomes associated with importance, power, and influence. 小 becomes associated with lower status or lesser importance. 整条路都被封了，这是哪个大人物要来啊？整条路都被封了，这是哪个大人物要来啊？苹果是我们的大客户，每年订单量要占1半以上。苹果是我们的大客户，每年订单量要占1半以上。不过是公司里的一个小职员罢了，不过是公司里的一个小职员罢了。大 means significant and influential. 小 means minor or unnoticeable. This dimension is actually quite similar to English. 这确实是一个大问题。这确实是一个大问题。环境对每个人的生活都有很大的影响。环境对每个人的生活都有很大的影响。Physically, 高低 describe altitudes or heights. 喜马拉雅是全球最高的山脉。喜马拉雅是全球最高的山脉。那里海拔很低。那里海拔很低。打篮球的人都长得好高啊。打篮球的人都长得好高啊。Their abstract extensions are versatile, primarily covering price, power, hierarchy, and ability. 他高价购买了一幅画作。他高价购买了一幅画作。为了压低成本，他们更改了原材料。为了压低成本，他们更改了原材料。Across many cultures, height is naturally associated with power and authority, so high means power. 两国的高层领导人展开了亲切友好的会谈。两国的高层领导人展开了亲切友好的会谈。他在官场混迹多年，如今已身居高位。他在官场混迹多年，如今已身居高位。 Extension 3 Ability, Skill and Education 这任务太难了，我们需要一个高手。这任务太难了，我们需要一个高手。这些面试者都拥有高学历。这些面试者都拥有高学历。轻重，轻重 physically referring to weight, we can say 这个箱子好重啊，这个箱子好重啊。这个包裹很轻，我可以自己拿。这个包裹很轻，我可以自己拿。Like 大小，轻重 also develop meanings related to importance and degree. Think of words like 重视、重视、轻视、轻视。这个问题我们一直很重视。这个问题我们一直很重视。他这么努力，不过是不想被人看清。他这么努力，不过是不想被人看清。去年他生了一场重病。去年他生了一场重病。听说你受伤了，轻伤罢了，不碍事。听说你受伤了，轻伤罢了，不碍事。Now let's look at a particularly unique pair, 长、短 obviously describe physical and temporal length, but Chinese extends them in a different direction. 长 often becomes associated with experience, accumulation, or strength, while 短 often develops meanings related to shortcomings, weaknesses, or deficiencies. This is why we have words like 长处、长处、特长、特长、擅长、擅长。We often say 人要懂得扬长避短，人要懂得扬长避短。A skill becomes long because it has grown and accumulated over time. This extension is much less common in English. 冷、热、冷、热。冷、热 describe temperature and they perfectly map onto crowd density and the level of public attention. Therefore, 热 means trendy, popular, and highly sought after, while 冷 means obscure and ignored. In Chinese popular culture, words like 火 fire, 红 red, which are both associated with heat, carry the exact same meaning, popular or famous. 俄乌战争一直是这几年的热点话题。俄乌战争一直是这几年的热点话题。这本书最近热销。这本书最近热销。这是一部冷门电影，知道的人很少。这是一部冷门电影，知道的人很少。这条街这么冷清，一天也没见个顾客，能挣到钱吗？这条街这么冷清，一天也没见个顾客，能挣到钱吗？One crucial thing to keep in mind is that these extensions don't always develop equally. Take our first group, 大小. Historically, 大人, 小人 referred to people of higher and lower social status, but over time their path diverged completely. In modern Chinese, 大人 simply means adult. Its data-based extension is no longer used in daily life, and its natural opposite is 小孩, 小孩. However, 小人 evolved into a frozen moral term. It means a vile, despicable, or backstabbing person, and has nothing to do with being physically small. But here is a fun twist. If you say 小人儿, 小人儿, adding the retroflex sound at the end, it goes back to meaning a tiny person. So be careful. 小人, 小人儿 mean completely different things. The same asymmetry goes for 高, 低. We say 高手, 高手, but there's no commonly used word corresponding to 低手, 低手. We also say 高层, 高层, for high-ranking officials or executives, but we rarely say 低层, 低层 to mean low-ranking staff. If you want to say you are a low-level employee, you would say 我是一个普通职员，我是一个普通职员，我是一个底层职员，我是一个底层职员。Positive concepts tend to expand much faster and wider in language because societies naturally spend more time talking about success, prestige, and achievement. Chinese is no exception to this rule. When we compare Chinese and English, a structural difference appears. Chinese tends to expand the meanings of a small number of common core words. One single character can cover a massive web of related concepts. Take Gao as an example. It can refer to height, status, ability, education, quality, price, and prestige. English, on the other hand, prefer to separate these ideas into specialized, distinct words. Instead of saying high for everything, English uses high, advanced, senior, prestigious, excellent, expensive, and many other. That concludes today's lesson. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please give a thumbs up and subscribe. Your support means a lot to me. I'll see you next time. Bye. Bye.